Let's have a look at the home screen on the HTC Mozart phone. This will be a fairly short video because the home screen is very simple, it doesn't do much, and it's fairly easy to understand. As you can see, there is a bunch of large fields here on the home screen with a functionality in each of them. You can scroll in order to have more functionality, and you can use the arrow up here not to get more fields like this, but to get to the menu of all the functionality that the phone provides. And up here you can go back again. You'll notice up here that it's not filled with status icons. It doesn't tell me anything about the amount of battery that's left, if there's a Wi-Fi nearby that I could connect to or stuff like that, unless I do like this. And then the icons will come falling in a funny little manner. Also, I like the arrow here because it clearly indicates that I can press it. It's round, it looks like a little button, and it clearly indicates that something will happen. I could expect to get another screen filled with these green fields with functionalities in them, but it doesn't surprise me too much that I get the menu here. Especially because the phone only has 3 keys down here. It has a back key, it has a search key over here that, depending on the state of the interface, takes me either to Microsoft's Bing search engine or to search internally in the phone. And then it has a sort of product placement here where a home button would make sense, or a home icon, because it actually takes me to the home screen. Instead, Microsoft has chosen to promote their own Windows icon. For the usability of the phone, a home icon would be better, but it only takes 1 or 2 attempts before you know that this Microsoft logo is the same as home. Because of the limited functionality down here, because of no other icons, no other labels, anything on the screen, it's fairly easy to understand that this button up here will take you somewhere, and it takes you to the menu, which should be accessible from the home screen. So as you can see, there's nothing here I can do apart from going to the menu, apart from going home, and apart from searching. So this creates a usability problem if I should rearrange some of the icons, or if I should select some new icons here on my home screen. I have to use the most hidden interaction form of them all, which is to long press. Long pressing is dangerous because you cannot see at the interface that there's something you can do. So if you don't know that you can long press anything, then you cannot change any icons here, you cannot do anything. But let's say if you long press it anyway, let's say I long press this icon, messaging, it will then reveal to me on the screen that something is happening. Then I can move it around. I can move it up here if I want to, and then the screen will rearrange. Again, I long press, I move, it will rearrange if possible, and I press it. Now there's a little flaw here usability wise, I would say, because up here, as if you can see it on the screen, there's a little pin with a line over it. Now this means that I can delete the icon from the home screen. So the little icon up here is, if not difficult to understand, then at least not as easy to understand as trash or delete or stuff like that. Now Microsoft wishes to promote a concept called pin to start, which means that if you are anywhere else on the phone and you long press something, you'll have the option of pinning it to start, which means that you put an icon out here on the front page. But is it intuitive that in order to delete one of these, that the user should depin it? Why isn't it just an X or something easy that people understand based on other interfaces that they've tried? Why does it have to be this depin idea that is fancy and everything, but actually means that the user can also misunderstand what this thing does? Let me show an example here. And the problem is that this signifies something. that something is happening when you press it, and it's just as easy to understand that you should press this one in order to pin that it is to understand that you should press here. Because the icon is very small and it's not a concept that you understand straight away. It's just as natural to press the little icon up here in the corner than to click in the middle, and then it disappears. If I want to add something here, as I mentioned earlier, I can go somewhere on the phone and then select Pin to Start. Let's have an example here. I take Maps, I long press it. There's nothing else I can do on the screen than long press it. If I press it once, it'll open. And then I take Pin to Start. Now it's down here in the bottom of my screen, and I can move it around if I want to. I don't want to do that, so I'll just delete it by depinning it. Now this is fairly clever and it's fairly easy to understand. The problem for me is that I cannot do this from the home screen. If I go down in the bottom here of the home screen, it tells me by animating like this that I cannot go further, but there's still some space down here that I can press. Long press. And I can long press out here. Only nothing happens. So let's say I have a strange wish of pinning a video to my home screen. Then I cannot do it from here. Then I need to go in to the menu, to Music and Videos, Videos here, and then I can select Pin to Start. It's possible to discuss whether it's quicker or something to go out of the phone, around in the structure, and then Pin to Start from there, or if it's better to be on the home screen and then browse from there in order to get to the functionality. You can say that while you need the same amount of steps, you still need to find the functionality somewhere in the menu structure in the phone. But to me, conceptually, it just makes more sense to have a home screen that you can edit from the home screen, and where you can add content, add functionality from the home screen instead of having to go out in the phone and then pinning it, let's say, backwards. But overall, the home screen is not difficult to use. It has very big icons. Some would say that they're too big, that it would make sense to have 3 across the screen, but it's not too big a deal. And the home screen, if I rearranged my icons as this and I rearrange them back, then the home screen is clever enough to figure out how to use screen space most efficiently. And the fact that the status indicators up here only appear when I want them to do it, and don't create too much visual noise when I use the phone normally. And the fact that the clock is always visible up here is very nice.